Good evening, everyone. How are we today? I hope we are all doing well. Thank you for coming on board once again. I'm building bridges, trusting God that you and your family are doing well. Please comment if you come across this on your YouTube. What are your opinions? How do you feel about it? It will be very, very helpful if we can get some feedback. And what are the things you would like us to talk about? What are the real conversations that you think will be good to build bridges? Okay, right. So tonight, I just want to greet everyone, and I hope we are all well wherever we are connected from. So tonight we're just going to be recapping on we're going to be recapping on our topic. So we've talked about a lot about the affiliate stigma, and we've talked about what it is, how it affects family, and we want to move on and how best can we actually work even within the family effective with thoughts about it, and the best way would be effective communication, right? So how can we communicate effectively? Because what we don't know or what we don't have an understanding of is difficult to be able to support accurately, to be honest. So tonight we're just going to be looking at how effective communications break walls and build bridges. So effective communication has the power to transform relationships. Communication is not just about listening, it's actually making the effort to understand. Comprehension, I can just say I'm listening to you, but my body language communicates something different. And if somebody that is going through trauma, it takes a lot of patience to hear beyond their pain, because most of the time people speak from their pain. So it's going to take an intentional effort. We have to be intentional. I was speaking to a lady the other day about, generally it has nothing to do with, but soft family has nothing to do with neurodivergence. And what she was talking about was the woman goes to the extent that even if Jesus comes, she will not forgive. And it was really shocking to that the other person listening, because how could you say that? So I explained that sometimes when people are speaking from pain, it's difficult for them to rationalize. So as a third person looking, we've got to have compassion, we've got to have empathy, we've got to be able to relate with them where they are at that moment, and help them acknowledge their pain, acknowledge their situation, not trying to justify it or trying to minimize or undermine it, but just acknowledge it. Even if you can't imagine yourself behaving like that, you understand? We all have different ways that we respond. So, coming to um, what we are discussing today about effective communication, even within the family, because of lots of misunderstanding, because of frustration, shame, assumption, a sense of feeling unheard, those things can make communication very difficult, make it very challenging, because if you're not intentional, you will not be able to empathize with the person at that moment or with each other. This goes between husband and wife, between parents that are co-parenting, siblings, other family members, and then it extends to the neighborhood, community, even our every other place, the school or the religious gathering. So when we look into all this, what it comes down to is that we need to be compassionate, we need to be intentional, we have to be a safe place so that people can be able to bring down their walls, so that they are not always on the defensive. So, how can we create communications that build bridges? We create communication that build bridges by understanding instead of judgment. Some of us, we listen to respond. We don't we don't actually understand. We just want to say our piece. We want to say it from our own point of view, our own opinion. We don't actually listen to understand. We just listen to respond. So we have to create understanding instead of judgment, encourage listening instead of reacting, give children and parents space to express needs safely. You can't just say, oh, parent A manage it this way. Why can't you do this? Parent B, this is what they put in place. Even if you're gonna bring suggestion, don't make it a shameful situation where people feel that they are inadequate, because sometimes it's easy to give unsolicited advice when we are not the one in that situation. So it's very important that we create that safe place when people are expressing their needs. It's their need, not yours. Okay? It's their needs. It's them that have those needs. And they know where it's hurting them. So you have to create that safe place for them
No,
to be able to.
Auntie Ade.
Oh, my love, how are you?
Bless you.
Bless you. So, yeah, you're welcome. I was just talking about how important, because we are moving, we are shifting. How can we shift as a family? How can we shift as a community, except we are intentional? If we are not intentional, we cannot be able to move on. And one of the things, even you, Minister Esther, said it the other day, effective communication. So today we are discussing effective communication. How can we have that effective communication? You understand? Because effective communication can break walls that people have put up and can be able to build bridges. So we are saying that we have to create understanding instead of judgment, encourage listening instead of reacting, give children and parents space to express their needs safely. So I elaborated here in the sense that sometimes we just listen to respond. So we just want to say our piece or want to compare. You understand? But the thing is, everybody is unique. They have, and we all have a level of resilience. So how, and every child is a world of their own. So we cannot use comparison or whatever we think we know to judge people going through. So we have to have the capacity to listen, give them space to express themselves. We have to reduce feeling of isolation and misunderstanding. Sometimes it can be very draining. I've explained that as well. Sometimes we want to support people, but they are at a place whereby they have gone through some trauma. And we know, depending on the severity of the situation, having a neurodivergent child can be quite traumatic to the parents. So we've discussed all that. So when somebody is being defensive or reactive, it's not on us to dismiss them or isolate them. We have to reduce them. If we can't help, we've got to be able to signpost them. Maybe we don't have the emotional capacity to support them. That's fine. We don't have to force ourselves into something we are not equipped for. But we've got to be kind enough to help them find the help that they need so that they don't feel ostracized or isolated just because of what they are going through. So we've got to be able to strengthen trust, emotional connection, and belonging. Sometimes we think that when we add people, that is belonging. That's not belonging. Belonging means I can be who I am. I don't have to change to be accepted. Do you understand? So we have to create a space for everyone at the table. We don't have to make people compliant, to how we want them to be for them to be accepted. So we've got to have that flexibility to make people belong and help them to have that emotional connection, strengthen trust, you know. So it's very important. For neurodivergent families, communication is not just about words, it is about connection. It's about patience, it's about validation, it's about creating an environment where every voice matters. So I'm going to emphasize on this again. It might not be what we want to hear, it might not be the status quo that we have. That is why there is what is called inclusion. Inclusion means everybody have a space at the table. They have a seat at the table. So everybody does not have to be uniform, right? We can be in one accord, but we don't have to be uniform because we are all unique anyway. So we need to create that space that's that is able to accept diverse uh, personalities. Am I saying that when people are violent? No, but even in that, we've got to get the right support, who can meet with that need. Again, don't because you want to be inclusive, you have to now lose yourself. No, you know your own threshold, you know your own breaking point, you know what you know you can do. And when you know that is not your area of strength, instead of getting worked up, becoming rude, becoming how will I say it, becoming somebody that is divisive or looking down on others, just signpost them. Get the people that have the emotional capacity to support, because people have different strengths. So having effective communication is everyone understanding their strengths and talking earnestly, honest conversations. There are things I can't do. A few of my friends, they know. And I will tell them, you know what, that's not my area of strength. And they know my area of strength. And I don't hide away from my area of strength. But what I cannot do, I don't try to do it so that people will be pleased, so that they think, oh, shit, no. As much as I work in this field, I'm an inclusion officer. I support, but there are still cases that I don't have the capacity for. And I'm very, very happy to know. That's why I work with different sets of people, so that I know those that can help and I will signpost them. So we don't get traumatized trying to sort other people out. But we have to be kind enough to ourselves and to the people we are supporting to be able to bring the right support to them.
Sorry, Rev. Can
Hello?
I come in for a minute?
Yes. Thank you.
Not to say anything much, but your position on the screen, it's a bit awkward.
Really?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, you are better now.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay. All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Thank you for that observation. All right. So that's where we are at this evening. And I don't know how much each person have gotten from me, but I want it to be that even if you're not a parent, I want you to speak from your own perspective. Probably you are a carer, probably you are a neighbor, because we just don't want to see it from, because this is my situation, the whole world have to revolve around me. So what do you think? What is if you can put it on the comment section, you can reach out to us. What is it that you have come across that have not allowed that communication? Instead of building bridges, you have built up walls around you that makes you not want to include families that have neurodivergent children. We want to know as well, because we want to build the community. We want where everybody have at least basic knowledge of what's going on. One of the things I say, even as parents, we want our children to be neurotypical. We are just like, oh, she needs or he needs to behave this way. But have we stopped to think of how their brain work, how they perceive things? Have we seen life through their own lens? So it's very important that when we communicate, we sit down and we try to see life from each other's perspective, then we can be able to bring down those walls that we have built around ourselves and be able to build the bridges for a more inclusive community. Thank you. I believe I have some of my people here now on Zoom. Please, if there's something you feel like adding, you can write it if you maybe your background is uh, if your background. Hello.
Ah, yeah. Hello.
Yeah, yeah. So any addition?
I don't know if I'm getting you right. Are we talking about behaviors or um from our point or from other people's points?
So we started with, you know, we've been talking about affiliate stigma,
Yeah.
and we are shifting today, moving forward. So, looking at how are we going to break these walls and build the bridges? You understand? Because we've talked
Okay.
about what happens. We talked about the fear, the shame, the challenges, right? So
Yeah.
now what we are looking into is that as a community, how do we do better? So we now talk about effective communication. So I listed out different aspects where we can effectively communicate and support one another. So if you want, I can go through it again. Effective communication has the power to transform relationship.
Yeah. Mm.
Even within the family, it has the power to transform relationship within the family because many wars have been built through misunderstanding, frustration, shame, assumption, or feelings, or sometimes you feel unheard that you are talking, people are not hearing you. You understand?
Yeah.
So we are looking at um, how we can walk through this. One, create understanding instead of judgment. Encourage listening instead of reacting. So I was now expanding on each of these points, giving children and parents space to express their needs safely. Because sometimes when people are expressing their need, we are quick to say, "Oh, but this is not how I want. I do my own." So we try to push our our own thoughts on those people. Even
Mm.
if you're going to suggest, you've got to do it in a very kind way because everybody experience life in different ways. Even two the identical twins still experience life from different ways. You
Mm.
understand? So we have to be careful how we give our unsolicited advice. We have to reduce feelings of isolation and misunderstanding because sometimes we can withdraw from people just because their situation are different. You
Mm.
understand?
Yeah.
And then we have to strengthen trust, emotional connection, and belonging. Then I spoke about belonging. Sometimes belonging is I want you to do it the way I'm doing it. That's what we think belonging is. Belonging is not that. That is compliance. Belonging is there's room for you to be you. There's space for you to be you. So I expanded on we having seats at the table for everybody, not making them, if they are not exactly the way or they don't respond to us the way we want, then we isolate them. and then helping family to advocate confidently for support and inclusion. So those are the points I have highlighted.
Okay, thank you. God
You're
bless
welcome.
you, first of all, for
Mm.
the great work you are doing. Um, I would say, first of all, we need to understand.
Mm-hmm.
There's the need for us to understand um our children and then other people around us. So first of all, if you are able to understand your child, know what uh it's wrapping or going around in the world of your child and understand him or her better, then you are able to relate better and then send that message outside. Because
Yeah.
upon how you understand and relate to
Yeah.
your child or your children, that will
Yeah.
send message to others outside to also behave um negatively or positively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we need to understand the children we have. We
Yeah.
need to know how to correspond
Yeah.
or and respond to their behavior, how to manage. And
Yeah.
so that when you go outside, you are able to take control. You are in control, and another person will not um take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And then I think we also, the society, everyone needs to have empathy as well.
Yes.
Yeah, because you wouldn't know what is going on with
Mm-hmm.
other people, even if you know, you wouldn't know everything.
Yeah.
So it's important that we have empathy with whatever is going on around other people as well, so
Yeah.
that we don't pass on judgment that we don't have to, or we don't put up attitudes that we don't have to, and we are able to accommodate and we
Okay.
are able to support. Yeah. Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Um, okay, I also want to come in a bit. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So,
Good evening.
as you were talking about inclusion, for us as parents or workers, I think the most of the times we build walls because of the situations that sometimes we encounter with the child, and
Mm-hmm.
how society is going to frown on the behaviors of the child in public example, and then
Yeah.
sometimes because we are shy of people's what people will say, and
Mm-hmm.
other things, so we tend to sometimes not even want to take our children along with us, so we build that bridge of that wall of hiding our children,
Mm-hmm.
and also not giving them, allowing them that freedom where when they are out in the community or in the public, it's like we try to restrict them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but where you talked about inclusion, one thing we as parents or as people, when we are dealing with children or people living with this disability, we need to work with the equity, whereby we understand that as much as we want to include the child, every child is different, and because of we have to include them in in whatever we are doing, we need to find a different way of
Mm-hmm.
making them feel included in whatever they are doing. So let's say if it's a game, if it's a place of game where we've taken the child to, and we know that there's trampoline, there's seesaw, there's this and that, but we know that our child, when they do the seesaw, they are going to get agitated and stuff. So we need to make sure that there's trampoline where they can feel that they are also having a game, but it's a different game. But at the end of the day, they are exerting their energy, whereby it won't make them get agitated. So at the end of the day, the child still feels like I've also enjoyed myself in the midst of other children. But
Yeah.
whereby we say, oh, this child gets agitated quickly. This child doesn't behave well in public and stuff. So when we get in the midst of where other children are, we try to prevent the child from mingling with the other children. It means we are not including the child. And that is
That's
building a wall instead of building a bridge. And the way we
yeah,
can build a bridge is understanding the child, understanding the way they communicate to us, because sometimes you may want the child to do a trampoline but the child doesn't want. But if
yeah,
you are able to study the child, you would get to know that when it gets to certain behaviors or gestures, your child is saying something, the child is communicating something to you. Most of the times we tend not to be aware of what the child is communicating to us, but rather what we want the child to do. And that is not building a bridge, it's rather building a wall. So we need to understand the communication between our children and ourselves, or the people we support with such disability, so that we can build a bridge instead of building a wall. And also as Mr. Esther was saying, like the families, the people around us would also understand that every person is unique and different. And so what will work for you won't work for the other person. And
yeah.
sometimes getting frustrated because I want my child to sit down, my child doesn't want to sit, and then I get frustrated and I put my frustration on that child. So we need to always look at what we think can work best for our children, and when we take them into the community, when we are home, even supporting them with food. If we should be able to identify that when it comes to eating, when my child is full, this is how he or she behaves, especially when they are not verbal, so that
Yeah.
we will not have to force them to eat, and it will agitate them and then make them unhappy, and then they begin to um, show some kind of behaviors. But rather, we find a way of calming them down and things like that. Thank you. I don't know
Thank
if.
you very much. That point of equity is very, very important, because sometimes we just want everybody to, we say everybody is equality, and
Mhm,
but we all are equal, but
mhm,
then we all don't have the same capacity to do everything. That's where equity comes in. So understanding the capacity and the needs of each one, and meeting those needs within their capacity is very important. So that's a very, very important point that you have given there.
mhm,
And Ms. Esther also point out that you, as a parent,
mhm,
you've got to have that full understanding. But
mhm,
I've heard a case recently
mhm,
of a struggling mom that, one,
mhm,
probably because of the ethnic community that she's from, so
mhm,
she's not managing.
mhm,
She One, she feels is a spiritual attack.
mhm,
She has not embraced the situation. She doesn't
mhm,
even want to come into a supporting network. So, what do we do? How do we support such a parent? How do we make them to bring down their walls? How do we extend that empathy to them?
mhm. I think with such a parent, we need to build a bridge of acceptance where we can support the parent to understand, to accept the situation, that this this to her it might be a spiritual thing, but this is something that is both physical as well, and it's something that eats into your emotions. But then the way we can support her to build a bridge is making her understand that in situations like this, you need to accept who your child is, and then you work along with how best you can support the child in such situations where you feel overwhelmed. Because when you are overwhelmed and your child is also overwhelmed, then who is supporting who? But then you as a parent, if you don't have any external support, but it's just you are going to be burnt out, because it will get to a point, some of the things or some of the behaviors you might not understand, and you might not know how to deal with it. So if you are able to speak to people, you are able to get other help where you can understand things better, or you can get somebody to also support you, then it relieves you of the burnout, it relieves you of whatever you are going through, so that you can also accept the situation and accept the child, and know that all two people are not the same. And so if my child is also having the same situation, but my child is more calmer, more understanding, it's not because maybe I'm doing something supernatural, but it's because maybe I am using the right techniques, or I am getting the right support. So if a parent like that, if the way we can support that parent is having instead of judging the parent or condemning the parent or trying to say that you are not doing it right, do it this way, we need to talk the parent through it. And then it's a gradual process, because she might be overwhelmed, he or she might be overwhelmed. So based on your communication, being there, the support, like Mr. Esther talked about empathy, um, empathizing with the parent, and giving the parent assurance. I think gradually they will come out of their shell, and then they will also now feel that inclusion.
Very good point. Because most of the time, um, there's trauma is as a result of what one has gone through. And sometimes people react from pain, from disappointment, from trauma. You understand? So sometimes when people speak at that moment, we've got to be careful not to take the words that is being spoken from pain, and then we withdraw from them, because they can reject your support, they can reject your help. You understand? Why? Because they are carrying pain. So we must have the ability to hear more than what they are saying. We must be able to look in between the line, not just saying because they have spoken or they have said this. So, like what you said, that we've got to have that patience, we've got to have that compassion to be able to go the extra mile with them. And I emphasize on this very well. We all don't have that same skill, okay? We all don't have that capacity to do it. So instead of you getting frustrated or losing yourself or becoming traumatized or taking it personal, because some people, when they reject your help, some people take it personal. You understand? They think that, oh, so don't take it personal, because that person it has nothing to do with you. That person might be speaking from their pain. So it's your duty as a person to channel or signpost that person to someone you think have the capacity that can support them. So we will not now say, oh, I have spoken to her. Oh, you don't know. No, because at that moment, it might be their trauma, their pain, their disappointment of the outcome of life that is speaking. So we have to be very careful not to place judgment or to put a full stop where there is a comma. So our duty as a community is to signpost, look for people that will be able to help them, walk them through that, and We must not have a messiah syndrome as well, so that we will not be born out, that because we've not been able to help this child or this family or this parent, automatically we have failed as a community. No, that's why we are working together. We all have different capacity, different strength, different skills, but if we use it together in a synergy, it will be able to help. And anyone that is helping others, please try to get help for yourself as well. Don't internalize, don't allow yourself, because when we talk about communication, we're not just talking about talking. It's about our attitude, it's about our actions, it's about our body language. How do we respond to pressure? How do we respond to rejection? How do we respond to pain? So it's very important that we communicate honestly. If maybe you request something from me and it's not my area of strength, I will have the capacity to honestly tell you that I would love to help, but I can't because I don't have this skill sets. But I will ask around, or I know who can help. You understand? And I think more or less that's what it's all about. I don't know if Madam No Stress is with us.
Good evening, ma. Good evening, everyone. And
Good
with you
evening.
people, you all have said a lot this evening. Thank you so much, ma, for bringing us together to talk about this. This is what the community needs, and I pray that the Lord Almighty will continue to strengthen you and
Amen.
give you more strength to carry
Thank
us through. What everyone have said so far, we are we all have said the part about inclusion and how to support each other. As we said, many parents they are feeling guilty about having all these children. Some of them they are ashamed. Everything that you have explained so far is true, but some people before they even have these children, some of them they have low self-esteem already,
you.
and
Yeah.
some of them the trauma, the community, the culture, and everything that they have, so they deprive themselves away from even if you try to offer them support, which
Support,
is
yeah.
not also very good. And also professional support is available for people to use, but this professional support also deprive some parents. Like for
Mm.
example, on Tuesday, I was at work. Sorry, I'm bringing this. I know it's my work. I'm not mentioning it. I was
No,
at
you're not
work.
mentioning name. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at work. I have this patient that came. Short, all my patients that they were so funny. They were all parents with special needs children. That day I was having 10 patients on my slot. Do you know 8 patients of these patients, both men and women, they are going through a lot of things and they complain. I'm burnout. I have a special need child and all. And the funny part of it, they are not the people that I just have that day, they are not our,
Yeah.
Africa people. They are all British. So it comes to, I have the last two I have. The first one that came, she came and she's having issue with housing and all. And she's also a dental nurse. She work in my practice, but not on our side, on the other side. So she's having issue with housing, and because the landlord wants to sell the property, and it's affecting her because of her daughter, the changing of environment. She's worried because the way she explained what her daughter needs her to me. And she came because the council asked her that the GP have to fee like emotional pet support later, form, something like that, to offer to her to take to the council so that wherever they are putting them, the daughter will be able to take the emotional pet support that she carry along with her. Do you know, I can't write that letter. It's GP that have to write the letter, even though I've seen the woman. I supported her because I know what she's going through, because I'm in the position like that. I have a child.
Yeah.
So she was even surprised how I was trying to give her information, support her. But in the other hand, she doesn't know that I was even doing more than my job. You
Yeah.
understand? So
Yeah.
I had to go to the GP to ask the GP to write the letter. Do you know, the GP said, no, I'm not going to write. I'm not writing. I'm not writing. You know, it was so like, I was like, look, this woman, she's going through a lot, blah, blah, blah. She need help from us. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. I said, no, she need, I press. I press. The GP said, no, we are not doing. I don't do that. Then I said, okay, how is she going to? And I explained, I said, she have a special, this is not about the patient alone. This is about the child we are not talking about here. This is a special need child that needs support. And if they are going to take them to a temporary place, and the temporary place they are expecting to take them to is a shared place, and she needs this emotional support later to allow her to carry her pets with her. So she need, and the council want GP to write that letter, and you are refusing. So this is my patience. I need to offer her this support, and I can't do the letter. So at the end, anyway, we talk, 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 talk. Finally, they wrote the letter for her. This is another way of we that is professional. I
Yeah.
mean, the GP, they are
Yeah.
just there like I'm sorry to say this, because if I have not worked with them, I will not
Yeah.
understand. Like me
And they
now,
have the power to
they
do a
have the
lot of
power
things, but they
to
don't.
do a lot of things. They don't want to do it. They don't want to support parents. Like my son that is talking, I've requested for appointments. This is part of the communication. It's not only at home, it's only
No,
in
it's
a
not.
professional
Yeah.
way. So I requested for appointment now for my daughter for the past 3 days. They have not come back to me because I said I want to discuss with them. She's growing. What is the
Yes.
support that is there, that is available for her to utilize? You know, I was asking for different things. I've requested for this appointment in this very moment. They have not responded to me. I even went to her NHS app today to check. There's nothing there yet. So this is part of whereby professional also neglect these children and the parents as well. It's part of what we are also talking
Oh,
about.
we are. Yes.
Hmm.
And parents at home, the communication part. So, as one of my sisters said, we have to learn how to talk to ourselves, our children, before we take them to the community, before we complain about people that is around us. How do you communicate with these children at home? Simple communication is available to use. If it's a pet chat to use to communicate with them, you can create them. They are all on Google. You can print out if you have a printer for me, because sometimes if you have to wait for them from school to do it for you, it also takes time. And communication it has been a big barrier, not only with
Hmm.
parents that have special need or children with special need, in the society as whole. There's a lot of barrier when it comes to communication, and I just pray that it's something that people need to look at to work on, and the kind of language you even use if you want to ask these children something. What kind
Yeah.
of language do you use? You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
are you using a word that will be causing confusion to them? And are you using a word to encourage them to even get more out of their voices? So it's something that we all have to sit down to put together. So a lot of parents are going through a lot of things. The funny part of it, if you call for this kind of meeting, not many people attend, and
That is the thing.
I don't really
That is the
know
thing.
why,
Hmm.
but it's something that people need to hear, because a lot of parents, it's just that I cannot be passing their information when they come to me to be joining us because of the
Yes,
professional
because of,
boundary.
yeah, I
Sometimes in my
understand.
mind, I would say, oh, I wish I can just say, join
They
us.
can just come.
You
Probably
understand?
when we are going to do our big program, we can share on GP surgery.
I think if
Yeah,
it's possible to do that, we
we'll
should do.
print it
We will
out,
put
and then we
the
just go to
flyers there.
GP surgeries and share it, and they
Yeah.
do a lot of publication on the social media. Thank you very
Yes.
much. You know, that professional aspect is very important because
Yes.
sometimes you get so overwhelmed that you're tired, and people will think like, okay, why are you not speaking out? Well, if you're speaking and you feel unheard, what do you do? What do you do? You know, because um already one is feeling overwhelmed with, like, it's not a logical thing, but now you still have to go for it, and so it's very difficult. But good thing is we have good professionals like yourself who will insist, who will, stand your ground so that others will be able to get what they need. And why are we able to do that? Because we also have gone through that situation. We know how stressful it is. That's where the empathy and compassion comes from, you know. And this is where, if a professional that understands generally the situation of people is not having that heart to reach out, because all they think is, oh, they are trying to um, take benefit. That's all people look at, but they
Mhm.
don't look at the challenges people are going through, the
Mhm.
stress, the fear of changing environment alone.
Mhm.
How long is going to take that child to be able to settle to a new environment? So the mom is already, breaking down from the inside. So thank you so much. That was very helpful, the
Mhm.
professional aspect. And yeah, we've done well. We are looking forward to, we share our YouTube as much as we can, then, and let people listen and let them subscribe to see how we can raise this awareness. By the time we have the face to face, which will be launched online as well, we'll bring in professionals. I hope we have the capacity to bring those GPs so we can be able to express the things we are going through, people are going through, that they don't have face to face with, because
Mhm.
it's just that 10 minutes appointment. But 10 minutes appointment is not enough to
Mhm.
connect with somebody. It's not enough.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Any
Mhm.
last words, Minister
Yes.
Tina?
Okay. Yeah. So my last word is where you came in, like the 10 minute appointment is not enough. We had a situation where my nephew, when he was young, when we take him to the doctors, he wasn't communicating. So, but when you take him to the doctors, he will communicate. But when he comes home, he doesn't. And so it was looking like you are not telling the truth.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And
yeah.
yeah, so sometimes it's worrisome when you know your child and you are telling them what the child is going through or what you are experiencing with the child, but then the professionals are also thinking otherwise. So,
It
and then it makes,
happens.
yeah, it makes the parent more
For me, more
frustrated.
frustrated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it also helps in building walls instead of building bridge.
Yeah, because
So,
they don't
yeah,
feel like really exposing themselves. But
yes.
these are things where, as professionals, one of the things I've seen is that sometimes what we need to ask for is a professional in that area. I
Mm,
have a case recently. I have a young lady who's been dealing with mental health issue. There was a time she had, crisis, but
mm,
she's in the spectrum as well. All right.
mm-hmm,
normal mental health professional, they've not been able to support. Some of them will come and repeat that, oh, if you're feeling this way, this is what you. One, as she was talking to her, she breaks down and start crying and, having that suicidal thoughts. I have to step in. So I now make a claim that this is, I wrote a long letter that this is what's the situation that is going on. Now they have to look for a mental health professional, but in autistic, specifically an autistic mental health person. And she has attended, I think she spoke to me the other day, twice now. And you can see the situation, all the help all the connection the gap that was there is now closing. Why? Because this person understands the patient. It was not just talking from a general mental health condition. No, that is more complicated when the person is neurodivergent and have mental health issue. You understand? So I think these are things that needs to be looked into. It's not easy because before you get a diagnosis, it takes time, but we must persist, we must insist, we must not relent and give up. So that's why it's good we have a community of networking, support network. And I hope that the more we are bringing our voices together, one day it will go up there, it comes across the right people, and then it will be noted. Because what is going on now, we are praying seriously, is that young people that are in spectrum, most of them are very suicidal. So because there's this frustration, and some of them, when they come of age, they feel they are a burden to their families. So why? They don't see hope, and we need to build hope for family and for the young people. It's very important. Thank you. As usual, we've come to the end of our time today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you too for
And see you next week.
Thank you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.